Mr. Amitabh Chaudhry, who's joining us as well this morning. Mr. Chaudhry, we're trying to understand several implications of this. To begin with, of course, companies crying out on the cash flow crunch. What is the resulting impact you see on the banking space, on your bank in particular, in light of the current ongoing crisis?
Good morning. Thanks a lot for inviting me on this call. Yes, I mean, obviously with the economic activity grinding to a halt across the country, and, we're fully supportive of the measures that the government is taking to stop the virus in its tracks. It will have an impact across all industry sectors, including financial services. Our clients are, not able to conduct their business. In many cases, a lot of the people who might have taken loans from us have lost their jobs, are going through pay cuts, or if this crisis continues for a long period of time, might have to go something like that. Even though the government has urged the companies not to do anything of this nature, it will finally ultimately impact the portfolio of all the banks. And the question really is how the government and RBI can support it, and how we as a bank are prepared to ensure that we can support our customers through these tough times. But there will be an impact. It is very difficult to predict what the impact would be because we don't know how long this crisis will last. But assuming and taking into account what the government has done, I do expect this to turn around hopefully quite quickly. And if it turns around quite quickly, I think we will be back on the rails in the next couple of quarters.
Mr. Chaudhry, Nikunj Dalmia also joining in. Somewhere, what is your understanding about what will happen to, let's say, retail delinquency or corporate delinquency? Right now, there is a serious cash flow mismatch. It is not an NPA. But if this cash flow mismatch continues, what is a mismatch may soon be classified as an NPA.
Hi, Nikunj. So, as you rightly pointed out, it is a cash flow mismatch, and that's why some kind of forbearance is required, and we need a regulatory intervention for the same. I think every trade industry body has been presenting to the government and RBI that forbearance is required. That is what's been done across the world, and I'm sure RBI is looking at it, and is almost, I think, a foregone conclusion that something of that nature would get done or should get done. I think if a forbearance is given, a lot of the people, at least for your Axis Bank, has given loans to are, for example, all our unsecured loans to are mainly salaried class. Ultimately, when the economic activity comes back, these people are required. They are required to serve the companies they work for. And once the salaries start coming in, or they are in a better position, they will start the loan repayment. So I'm not too concerned today. But yes, the issue is how long, as I said earlier, also this crisis will last. Now, if this continues for an extended period of time, then we are into a bit of uncharted waters. But otherwise, with a bit of a short-term forbearance, most of the people on the retail side should be able to come out of this crisis. On the wholesale side, I think the worry is more on the MSME and the MSME side, because they tend to get squeezed in times like this. Anyway, with the slowdown in economic activity, the SME side was seeing a bit of delinquencies rising. In Axis Bank, that has not been the case, but I mean, generally across industry, one saw that. And again, it is very important that the government provide all kinds of support in terms of ensuring the bills are paid on time. They are given some kind of financial support through this crisis. And as again, the large industries open up, for example, automobile plants are shutting down. As they come back on stream, I think the SME activity will also start picking up, and hopefully things should stabilize. But yes, there will be a period of time for which there were no cash flows. There was a period of time where there was no revenue generated, and the employees had to be kept on rolls, or a certain level of activity had to be maintained, which will lead to losses. And all of us need to be aware that it can cause pain to those businesses, and also people and industries that are working with those businesses, especially financial services.
So what really could be done from the government end? We all know that this is not the time to talk about tariff wars. It's the time to do something big out of box, because this is like a war, like the Prime Minister said. So what can the government do apart from forbearance and increasing the spending?
So Nikunj, I've been hearing you have been talking about the four wheels and stuff like that. So and the two wheels are government has to support the economy. My view is that a huge program is required, and obviously we have to ignore the fiscal situation and fiscal deficit and actually come out with a program which can support the sectors which need help the most. There are some parts of the economy which have been hurt very, very badly, which is the tourism, airlines, auto, and some of these sectors where the government needs to provide specific intervention. They need to do something specific for the MSME and the MSME side. They need to do something specific for the casual laborers who will be out of jobs and will not get paid. So a program which firstly supports the overall economy, and this could include things around providing liquidity. It could include things around actually buying, various papers, including, bond papers or even equity if necessary, to support the markets, and obviously coming out with specific programs to support very specific sectors of the economy which are getting very badly hurt through this crisis. Would be a very important step which needs to be taken quickly. It's not only the amount of money which the government needs to spend, it's also the timing of it. I think the more we delay it, the bigger is the problem, and less is the impact of the money which will have to be spent. So I think it's important that the government acts quickly. They have done that in the case of fighting the coronavirus. I think the same thing needs to be done as far as the economy goes.
So you are reasonably confident that this shall also go? You think today the financial system is frozen with fear, but everywhere the fear is excess and the financial economy and the real economy is not that bad?
No, today, with economic activity grinding to a halt, it is obviously creating panic, but, end of the day, the expectation is, and reasonable expectation is, that the countries globally will be able to fight off this virus. I mean, even in a worst-case scenario, people know a vaccine would come out in a defined time frame. Call it 12 months, 14 months, or maybe 9 months, who knows. But it is not going to go beyond 12 months. So, end of the day, there is a finite time in which this crisis will get solved. And in this time period, whatever this time period is in which the countries fight this crisis, yes, there could be pain, but there is, a time limit to this. And after that, the economic activity will resume. So, yes, as far as I think the prices of things are concerned, especially in the financial markets, I think everything has hit panic button, and so the prices do not reflect what the real value is. There could be pain, there could be slightly higher losses and credit losses which are unanticipated, just a couple of months back. But does it mean that the value of companies has gone down so much? I think is a question worth asking. But end of the day, the markets tend to work on sentiment, and it is the sentiment which is reflecting the prices. I do believe that in the long run, things will be more than okay. Very, very bullish about India and what India presents and what can be achieved in India. So we have to manage this crisis. We have to execute well. We have to support our employees and customers for this crisis. But I strongly support the view that it is a matter of time before which things start looking up, and then it will rebound at the pace at which it has gone down. It will revise, kind of come back with the same pace. So the faster it goes down, the faster it will come up.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, Mr. Chaudhry, my next question is about your understanding of what is happening to the retail, loan part, both unsecured and secured. Now, Axis Bank does not have that problem, but not everybody is got a good book like Axis. There are a lot of unsecured loans. There are a lot of loans which have been given to non-salaried class by various NBFCs and small banks. Do you worry about that blowing up?
I mean, I would not use the word blow, but yes, you would have to be worried, because in this scenario where we are practically all shut, the people who are out of jobs or who have to take a salary cut, or the businesses are suffering, their ability to repay the loans on time will be hampered. And if that is hampered, then yes, obviously it will reflect in the books of the companies or banks who have given these loans. The expectation is that the RBI will intervene and provide some kind of forbearance. But end of the day, we have to appreciate that for certain couple of months or a certain time period, these businesses or people might not have earned anything or earned very little amount. So there will be an impact on the portfolio. Now, one of the things would be that you would restructure the loan and give them slightly more time. But the higher risk end of the retail portfolio is likely to get impacted, and people who have lent to those sectors of the on the retail side will see their credit costs shoot up. at least in the short term. Then over a period of time, hopefully it will stabilize. And again, Nikunj, you come back to the same point. The issue is really how long will this crisis last and how long will the economic activity remain hampered? And depending on that, the impact on you will see the impact on the retail portfolios of various finance companies and banks. And as you rightly said, we believe Axis Bank is quite well placed because of the kind of portfolio we have created and the kind of borrowers we have lent to, etc., etc.
Okay, we had Mr. Aditya Puri on the channel yesterday, and he himself disclosed that HDFC Bank is sitting on about $5 billion plus of liquidity. Now, if my memory serves me right, Axis Bank did manage to raise capital at the right time when market conditions were very different. So can I assume that you have enough and more surplus liquidity right now?
So yes, I mean, we are well capitalized. We are doing business. We are lending to both the corporate and the retail customers. We have managed our so-called liquidity coverage ratio extremely well through this crisis. I had said in a news channel more than 60 days back that we are underestimating the impact of coronavirus. So you can imagine that we had triggered our emergency response team at that time. So we have been working steadfastly towards managing this crisis across BCP, across liquidity, across risk factors, and so we are quite comfortably placed. As far as the deposits are concerned, our numbers continue to track well. We have not seen any change whatsoever in whatever we've been tracking over the last, the trend we've been seeing in the last quarter and what we have been witnessing in January and February. I don't want to quote specific excess liquidity, but our liquidity is very, very comfortable, and I do want to thank the customers who have been supporting us through this journey, and we intend to continue to serve them in the best way possible going forward.
Very basic questions about cash availability. Okay, some very basic questions which perhaps all your depositors and all your account holders would like to know. What happens to simple transactions like ATMs? How are you ensuring that ATMs currently are not running out of cash? Is there a problem which perhaps could be there for banks in order to make the ATMs functioning, or are you committed to run the ATMs?
Oh, we are very committed to running the ATMs. We actually have we have the largest network of ATMs amongst the private banks. I mean, if we add everything together, more than 17,000 ATMs is something which we've been focused on from the very beginning. So we have been working with our vendors also who help us in stocking these ATMs. And they have also been very supportive through this journey. And we have been talking to the authorities also who also realize the importance of keeping the cash in ATMs. So we are monitoring it more closely. We are ensuring that the ATMs are well stocked. By the way, our currency chests in Axis Bank as we speak hold more than 35,000 crores of cash. So, we have enough cash in Axis Bank alone to be able to continue to feed these ATMs as and when necessary and whenever necessary and wherever necessary. So, it is, as you asked a great question, Nikunj, we are very aware of the fact that customers need to be serviced. You will also be aware that we have gone and announced till 31st March that we will not be charging, withdrawal fees on our ATMs across all our ATMs for any customer across the country from any bank. We are aware that this is the time where we need to support the country, and we will do whatever it takes to continue to support the country and the financial system as we move forward. So again, we have taken that proactive step already.
Everybody is telling me that banks, RBI should consider a forbearance. I'm going to ask you a direct question, and it's a direct one. Please appreciate where I'm coming from. Will Axis Bank be open to give some advantage or some leeway to credit card holders this time in case they are not able to pay, because that comes under your jurisdiction?
Well, end of the day, when we look at the unsecured loans, credit card is very much a part of it. There are customers who will suffer through this crisis if this continues for some time. And depending on as we do even today, depending on the financial situation of the customers, we do look at, working with those customers and seeing what we can do to help them through a particular crisis. And we'll continue to do that as we move forward. I don't want to make a general statement that, our shop is open for everyone to come and ask for a restructuring of the loan, because that'll be a wrong thing to do, and there will be a wrong practice for the customers to start getting used to. But yes, if there is a crisis, people are in need. We have done that in the past, and we'll continue to do that in the future. We have also set aside 100 crores to, support organizations, customers, employees, vendors, elderly people through this crisis. I think we are one of the first banks to do it. And, as I've been stating in this call that, we are very, very cognizant about the role which we need to play as a large bank to support the nation through this crisis. And we'll continue to do so.
Okay. One again a question which perhaps will your depositors and account holders would like to know. How many of your branches are functional? If somebody is not able to walk up to the branch, are the digital transactions on, or given that there is a lockdown, the back-end services will also suffer?
We have been communicating with our customers continuously through this crisis. I just sent out another mail yesterday. We are trying to keep as many branches open as possible because staffing is a problem. Police in some states, we have been asked to close down our branches also. We are encouraging our customers to use all digital means possible. All our digital channels are open. We are ensuring through our BCP testing, which I've been doing for the last 45 days, that all our digital channels are working. Yes, on the sales side, still things have slowed down in a very big way. But as far as our branches are concerned, wherever we're allowed to open and wherever our back office is concerned, we are keeping them up and running, including all our digital channels. So again, I will appeal through your channel that people should use digital channels as much as possible. They should not be worried. ATM machines are stocked, will remain stocked, and we are monitoring the usage of ATM machines on an hourly basis. And with our vendors, we are ensuring that they remain stocked through this crisis. And that's what we are, very, very focused and committed to doing. And as the situation unfolds, we'll increase the frequency if necessary to ensure that the customers are not in any way inconvenienced.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap our discussion, sir. We've cut across a range of topics. According to you, as of now, there is a challenge in terms of what will happen to the NPAs. So the banking system needs a forbearance from Reserve Bank of India. But in terms of normal activity, there is no problem whatsoever. What is happening in the financial market is completely different. But the ground reality is that goods businesses will slow down, they will suffer, but they will survive.
Oh, yes, I think so, because ultimately I think all of us very strongly believe in the long-term story of India. And, yes, we have a huge crisis. We have never seen a crisis of this kind before in our lifetimes. But, end of the day, if all of us come together, and I think the government is ensuring that all of us come together, we will survive this. We'll survive this well, and the growth will hopefully come roaring back. And that's all of us are very looking forward to. But, yes, we have to manage this crisis. We have to execute well during this crisis. Axis Bank is well capitalized. Axis Bank is there to support its customers and support the nation in its effort to manage this crisis, and that's all we've been focused on. That's what we've been planning for the last 60 days.
Much for having that detailed, candid discussion with us on the impact that not just Axis Bank, but the overall economy and the banking sector per se is going to face from the COVID pandemic, at least what we can estimate so far. We don't know.